She does a really good job helping call the action, and especially with her backstage interviews. She has a unique look, something different, and brings a different quality dynamic to backstage, front stage, any stage interviewing. She can bring that to center stage for Ring of Honor's Saturday night at Center Stage Atlanta on January 11th, and then January 12th in Charlotte. Here's 5 Minutes Plus with Quinn McKay. Happy New Year, and thank you, Quinn. Any New Year's resolutions?
My New Year's resolution is actually to learn to bake this year. And then the cookbook that I bought is Paul Hollywood's How to Bake, which is all in metric. I didn't realize when I bought it at the time, so that's been a really interesting. I think I'm going to put it up on YouTube to be able to struggle, honestly, because it's going to be pretty bad.
Okay, so what kind of baking are we talking about here? What are some of your favorite things that you want to bake?
Oh man, that's the thing. I don't even know. Like I've never really gotten into baking before. So typically I'm expecting like cakes, brownies, cookies, that kind of thing. Really afraid of pastry, so like really excited to get into that at some point. I'm obviously like a Great British Bake Off huge fan. So I just sort of like mindlessly watch hours and hours of that, and that makes me happy. And I was like, well, baking could also make me happy, so maybe I'll give that a whirl. So that's my resolution.
You must have had a great time over the holidays then, because there were so many cool baking shows, especially if you watch Food Network and things like that, with all these holiday cupcake battles and cookie battles and gingerbread house battles.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's all of the colors. Like I really am expected to like brightly colored things, just shiny stuff in general. So baking's always been, it's just so relaxing to watch, you know? Like I could be having a horrible day and then come home and watch British people be super nice to each other and bake pastry or bread or something, and everything's like, oh, okay, nothing's that bad.
Now, Quinn, how did you get signed by Ring of Honor?
So I hadn't been wrestling all that long. I'd only had 2 or 3 matches, I think, on the independents, and then I went to a Jonathan Gresham seminar at St. Louis Anarchy in Alton, Illinois, and I guess I really impressed him there because he sent my bio and some headshots to the coaches of the dojo, and they got me in there. And I think it was February when they started talking about doing developmental contracts for the first time at the Ring of Honor dojo. And I was really honored to be one of the first 5 contracts and the only woman to have been offered a contract at that point out of the dojo. So that was really groundbreaking for me and really rewarding. So that's kind of the short of it.
What do you like most about what you're doing with Ring of Honor?
I really enjoy helping people tell their stories. It's really, I view it kind of as like an art form. Like I'm not there to bring attention to myself or anything like that. I want to be a really good foil to anybody that I'm working with in my interviews. And I really think that I bring that to the stage on Ring of Honor. I really feel like with me being back there, we've discovered more about these characters that we have on television, and they've had more of a voice, and they've started to tell better stories backstage because they've had the opportunity to do so. And I really, really love that I can do that I can bounce back and forth on people and kind of bring a little bit more information out of people than they would initially just kind of give in like a standard interview for wrestling, you know? So that's been really fun. Bringing a bit of a character to it for people to actually play off of has, I think, been probably the biggest aspect of it.
It's a really good character, too. I really enjoy it, and I know a lot of fans do. I'm wondering, because you mentioned that you had a tryout, per se, with them. Was the tryout for wrestling? Was the tryout for broadcasting? Or just was it about everything? And how do you think you impressed them?
So I didn't actually have a tryout. I think that I'm one of the very few people that's ever attended the Ring of Honor dojo that was independently designed by a coach and didn't actually have to go through any of the camp or tryout processes. Like I was definitely handpicked. And then I have my degree, I have a Bachelor of Science in Public Relations, and then also a minor in Anthropology, which has nothing to do with anything I'll literally ever do in my entire life, but I really enjoyed it at the time. But I did 3 years in radio broadcast, and whenever they found that out, they were like, well, we really need a backstage interviewer. So I just kind of was put in that role. I'm still training. I don't know that I'll ever actually return to in-ring action again. I've had some injuries that have put me on the sidelines that have been really hard to work through. But even if I just stay a backstage interviewer or expand upon that in my career, then I would be happy. I love my job. It's honestly, it's like going to play at recess every single day.
Now, anthropology, are we talking study of rocks, human evolution? What are we talking here?
Anthropology is basically just the study of man. So I really enjoyed archaeology, which is more the study of trash than it is the study of rocks, that's geology. And then I really what my initial plan was when I first got to college. I went to Missouri State University in Springfield, Missouri. Shout out, go Bears. But my intention was to be a biological anthropologist. I really wanted to go into forensics and do crime scene work and stuff like that. I've always been pretty interested in true crime. But I found that where I really hit my stride was whenever I was being able to make presentations to the class, and I was able to communicate ideas really well. So I considered maybe going into teaching, and then I found that communications was really just sort of my calling. I really shine there. So I fight it, just kind of lean in as hard as you can, and it's crazy where you'll end up.
Well, the glasses fit, right? If you did go into that career, the glasses you're wearing would be a good fit for that career stereotype, no?
Yeah, just, real nerdy in real life all the time. Listen, I do want to go on the record and say one thing. The glasses are 100% real, guys. I need those to see.
I'm glad you cleared that up in 2020, no pun intended.
Yeah, right? I do not, in fact, have 20/20 vision.
All right, so, and then one more thing I want to ask you, too, about the anthropology and that, because that's so interesting. Are you a fan of CSI, any of the CSI TV shows?
No, I wasn't really a big fan. I never really got into CSI. I was more of a Bones fan because that show's specifically about forensic anthropologists. So I was just like a religious Bones watcher. It was my favorite show of all time when I was a kid. Well, no, that's not true. Buffy the Vampire Slayer was. However, both shows star the incredible David Boreanaz, so I highly recommend both.
Oh, that is great. And now, Quinn, tell us about the attire, because it really is such a different look. And you see that there are some out there that are doing what you do, and they sort of have the same type of look. How did you get to that look, and especially the bow ties?
So I'm going to... It's kind of an interesting story, because they knew that because I am kind of bookish, that would be a really easy character for me to play up and portray and really over-dramatize. But when it comes down to the entire, it was 100% a convenience thing. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen me on Instagram or seen any of my workout videos or anything, but I'm actually, I call myself 5 feet of concrete, or I called myself up that on the Independence, and I call myself that on, my social media and stuff like that, because I really, really love to work out and to bodybuild and power lift. So I have, I have a lot of muscles that I think that women typically don't have, even as far as, women's wrestlers go. I feel like I'm in pretty good shape. So a lot of that was just okay, cover from your neck to your toes, because nobody is going to believe that you're actually this bookish if you look like that. And I'm like, but I am actually this bookish. And they're like, yeah, but not easily portrayed. So it was a very clear and concise image of a role that they wanted me to fill. And then the bow tie was actually an act of rebellion. Because I was like, man, all these outfits are really hot and they're really itchy and they're really tight on my throat. What can I do to, still stand out a little bit and put a bit of my personality into it? I've always been a super huge Doctor Who fan. And the 11th Doctor was my favorite. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to add a bow tie and just see how it goes. And it went over well, so it's kind of stuck.
And everything is so color coordinated, too. And I'm just wondering, are you able to give out any secrets of where you go to get your outfits and especially your bow ties? Or is it something that you have made?
No, I don't have it made. If I'm out and about and I see a button-up that I really like, it's like an interesting texture or an interesting pattern, I just kind of pick it up because I know that I'm going to wear it in the future. And I've always been a blazer collector, so anytime I get to buy a sparkly blazer or something like that, I get really excited. And then all my bow ties, I've ordered a few of them on Etsy, but a lot of them come from Amazon just because I could buy them in bulk and I could have all of these colors on reserve.
Okay, Quinn McKay, so how many bow ties do you actually have?
Oh, gosh. That's such a good question. I have no idea. At least 20, maybe 30.
That is so cool. I'm wondering, could this springboard the Quinn McKay bow tie collection somewhere down the road?
I Honor, and I got a pretty positive response about at least just like a Ring of Honor bow tie that I could have, and that maybe we would sell for fans. I think that would be pretty cool. As far as having my own Quinn McKay bow tie collection, trust me, nobody would want to wear it. It would be all like sequin and velvet and like velour. It would be stuff corduroy. Can you imagine a corduroy bow tie? Because I think it would be tops. But I think a lot of people would not like it.
Oh, I'd be first in line. I'd be buying them, Quinn. I'm telling you right now.
Nobody should give me the pencil to design anything. Trust me.